So it's the season 1 finale of the Scouse Code, and we have another special guest.
In terms of the penalty shootout, we all kind of felt it. And I think when Alex took hers and it hit the post, that's when we knew. But that was the only game I was nervous for physically. Like, you get nervous in your belly, but like physically shaking. I remember shaking his hand and he had a plaster on his forefinger. And for some reason, it's the one thing that stands out to me. It started to roll back a bit.
King Charles had a plaster on his hand.
Was it one of the normal ones, like the colour of your skin?
Yeah.
The good ones?
Yeah, a good one. I'm not a massive bra burner. It's...
Oh, I heard you say it before and I was dying to laugh. I thought, no. Bra burner.
It is though.
Obviously, I know, but mine's not big enough to burn, like, honestly.
So the girls had 1 week off, and in that 1 week, I basically just beasted myself. I was going to be the fastest, the strongest, win every tackle, win every 50-50, do everything I could, because I was like, if I don't get selected, I'm going to quit.
Welcome back to the Scouse Code with Bianca Cook and Paul Garrity. In this episode, we've made our way to the Wirral, and we record this from the 5-star Hillbark Hotel and Spa. We're here to meet Olympic gold medalist Sam Quek, MBE. Not only did she reach the top of the hockey world, but she's become an accomplished TV and radio presenter. Sam was a star of I'm a Celebrity in 2016 and is also an author. So Bianca and I look back at Sam's life and glittering career. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and enjoy.
So, Sam, welcome to the Scouse Code.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited you being on this as well. Before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of a podcast and what have you, I want to start this podcast by asking you what do you think the Scouse Code means to you? Because Scousers very often live by a code; it's unwritten. What does that mean to you?
I think you're proud, aren't you? You're proud to be a Scouser, and I think anyone from Liverpool will always own it and say, I am from Liverpool. And I think that's because we're a bit of a work hard, play hard type of community, aren't we?
Yeah.
We love a laugh. We love having fun. We're friendly, but we're also dead open, dead straight. If we've got a problem, we'll say it. Yeah. We won't get too upset and hopefully figure it out. And then we crack on with a spring in our step and probably take the mick out of each other after the fact as well. Yeah. So, yeah, very much that, really. Just,
You nailed
with a bit of humour.
You nailed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not
that's
prompted.
The reason. That should be in like the definition of the the word.
And it's interesting to find out different people's kind of outlooks on that. And I think you've, as you say, just absolutely nailed it. And as we go into this podcast, we're going to reveal who you are and a little bit more about you and
stuff that I probably don't know about myself.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a therapy session.
Yeah. We'll try to anyway. But we'll start off with your list of achievements because you've been very successful in all different walks of life and certainly in your career. Olympic gold medalist, Rio 2016. Woo. That was with the GB hockey team. European champion, England hockey team.
Yeah.
And you've also got a couple of silver medals as well for the England team. So all the bling.
All the bling.
All the bling. As I say, I'm surprised you never walked in with all the bling on today.
God, just come out with all the change.
Exactly, yeah.
My first gold medal, the Merseyside Youth Games medal.
Oh
yeah. The whole collection.
School.
Yeah. Are you one of those people who've got a box full of...
They're all at my mum's.
They're they're all in my mum's as well.
There you go.
And all
little
like
random
kit.
ones. I think I did cross country once. Came like 4th. It was the best thing I ever did. I got a participation medal. I was like, okay, that's like the main one.
Most improved player for like under 13 Wirral Panthers.
Most improved. Love that. I've never got one of them.
You've got more than 50 caps for Great Britain, and I tell you what, because the Great Britain team don't play all the time either, so that is some achievement in itself. You're an author.
Ooh, which we have, by the way.
Author. I don't really want to take that title.
Why?
Because when it comes to writing, I can talk.
Okay.
But putting pen to paper, I struggle with. I'm that person who takes like 2 hours to just do the title and then like another 2 days to actually get the first paragraph. Once I'm through the first paragraph, I'm fine.
Should have just done the audio book.
But
Honestly.
But Helena, who helped me put that together, was an absolute star. So I've got to give her a shout out as well.
Big up to her, but as far as we're concerned, you're an author.
Yes, we're
still on the list.
Exactly.
Still on the list, which we'll talk about later.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on. You're a mother as well, And
2 beautiful children.
2 beautiful children.
thank you.
And as we say on this podcast, your greatest achievement of all, you'll probably argue the toss with this, but the greatest achievement of all is that you are a Scouser.
Yeah,
So-
or a mum, to
Or
be
a mum.
honest.
Oh, here we
Well,
go.
one of
The
them,
mum's probably the hardest.
It might not be the top
Yeah,
one.
okay,
We'll
all right.
squeeze it in
I suppose
second.
All right,
a
then.
I'd
Scouse
say
mum.
second.
Yeah,
Scouse
exactly.
mum.
Scouse mum, maybe. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, you look at those achievements so far,
Yeah.
does that make you proud?
Yeah, massively. And it's so weird as well because as your life changes, your priorities change. And I was never that person who was always saying, I can't wait to have kids. I can't wait to have kids. I love children. I've got nieces. I've got nephews. I've got friends who've got little kids. I love them. But I was that person, if I used to walk down a street, I'd make a bigger fuss out of the puppy rather than the baby in the pram.
Yeah.
Or like if you said to me, there's a load of little babies, newborn babies in that room, or a load of puppies, I would walk into the puppy room. Like it's a little bit like that now. But I think once you have kids and you see the world for what it is, you see the world through their eyes. And yeah, they're ultimately now my main priority.
It's
and they're 1.5
crazy.
and 2.5 now.
Bonkers,
It's
isn't it?
crazy that like how the priorities will change through sport. Like obviously your previous with the sport career that you had, and now it's your career with being a mother and everything. Like the difference, how it can shift so much. But when you're an athlete, how selfish you'll want to be to get that gold medal or everything. It's the priorities have changed so much, and
Well, you have
it's
to be,
crazy
don't you?
now. Even talking to you now, thinking like yours is like a mother, and I'm like, what about your gold medal? Like
Long gone's that closing ceremony night.
yeah. She was
We were all having
walking
a few
back
drinks.
about in Rio. She was walking back from after winning her Olympic gold medal in Rio. And I was walking to
With
the
my kit still
competition with a kit still on. And I was going to the competition to compete. And she was like coming and I was like, are you all right? And she was like, well done. And she was like, where you going? I was like, I'm going to compete. Like
It's still steaming.
Sam's still hanging in, like walking in like that.
Although I-
But that's another story.
And the story, and then the actual closing ceremony night. Remember the basement bit
Oh
with
my
the table,
God, yeah.
tennis table.
Yeah, that was a good party. But
let's just say the Taekwondo girls and the hockey girls know how to party,
and
That's-
and the boxers.
and the boxers,
Boxers.
Oh,
Box boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine the carnage that goes
Yeah.
on.
And when you say
in that
boxers, you mean
situation.
like the Scouts, they're all
Yeah,
Scouts,
exactly,
the Scousers,
yeah.
basically.
Basically, all the
With-
fighters
with
put
Jade,
together.
with Jade.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But yeah, we won't talk about that. That's discreet.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we'll move on to a slightly different subject at the moment. We may come back to it. You never know. But we'll move on to a slightly different subject, and that's the location we're in today. We're in Hillbark Hotel and Spa.
Very posh.
And I'll
Very
be honest
nice.
with
We are
you.
in the poshest bit.
I'll be honest with you. This place is absolutely awesome.
It's
If
gorgeous,
you're
isn't it?
listening to the audio version of this podcast, you're going to have to look at the visual version as well because this place is absolutely stunning.
It's got 5 stars, by the way.
Well, it's got 5
And it's got hand towels to dry your hands in the
has.
toilet.
I know.
That's how you know it's
I
a
use,
5-star,
like,
right?
3.
Yeah.
Because we're in front of this massive fireplace here, and this is what they call, I think it's the Great Hall. And I have to admit, stained glass windows, big windows letting the light in. It's an absolute fortune. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
it's
say how much it is to rent this room for a time, but because you're with us, we ended up getting it for free.
Oh,
Because you're a
Do you
big
know what I mean?
deal.
No.
Exactly.
No.
They knew who you were and said, for Sam, anything.
That's
And
lovely, isn't it?
I wish they said, well, for you, Paul, anything. But, you know, it's kind
We
of
turned
like,
you down the first time you
Yeah,
left,
exactly.
but then when we
didn't.
plugged your name in
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But no, they've been absolutely fantastic here as
No,
well.
they are lovely. I've been to a number of events here, weddings, christenings, outside, inside. And my
based-
sister as well used to be based here with her business.
It's your party location to come.
Yeah.
This place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I say, they've been very accommodating to us. Everything's been a pleasure. Let's put it that way. You know,
Yeah.
the smile on the faces
Made it
and
a
everything
smooth
else. Absolutely.
ride.
But the reason why we've chosen this is because you do live on the Wirral these days.
Yeah,
You're not too far away from here, so why not come to where you live now and let's bask in the glory that is the
I know,
Wirral.
you've spoilt me, haven't you? I didn't even have to travel. I'm 10 minutes down the road in Heswell. But yeah, it was perfect. So thank you very much for coming over this side. But it's weird because all my family used to live in Liverpool. I think my brothers in Sefton Park, my others in Ormskirk. But everyone else now has moved over to the Paradise Peninsula.
No,
there
this
you go.
this
The dark
this-
side
This
is
side's
such-
like
The dark side, yeah.
the technical wool side, isn't
The
it? That we all
technical wool
we all say that
Well,
it is, but
Because one of the things I want to do before we move on is I want to debunk the idea that you are a plastic Scouser,
Yes.
because you're actually not a plastic Scouser.
That is correct.
So tell us a little bit of a story.
put that as a fact.
Well, no, it
just,
is.
Just briefly, we'll go into it a bit more in
Well,
detail
naturally, everyone goes to Wikipedia, don't they,
Yeah.
for information. But some random has clearly got a bee in his bonnet. on it and is so convinced that I was never born in Liverpool or used to live in Liverpool. So Wikipedia is wrong.
There you go.
But a big shout out to the guy or woman or whoever decides to change that on a weekly or daily basis. I don't know how many times they have to change it. You never know,
maybe tomorrow when it's
good
out,
effort.
like we've hit this.
Because you've got a Wikipedia page as well. Is that accurate?
To be honest, I don't even want to say it. It's saying on there, so I can't even answer that question if it's right or wrong.
Anyway.
So I'll go and check when I get
There's
back.
loads of random stuff.
Moving on.
Normally it's gospel, isn't it? It's like when you do research, people go, anyway.
Go on.
So just wanted to say a shout out to them.
Yes.
For the pure time and effort they go through to change that.
Yeah.
But I was born in Mill Road Hospital. On the 18th of October, 1988.
Feels all going back in
alongside
time
my
now.
twin brother, Sean, and 2 minutes older. And actually my cousin Phil, so my mum's brother and his wife were pregnant and they both ended up, not both of them, but Sheila ended up giving birth.
Imagine
on the same day.
Imagine if that was the case. Go on.
So the three of us were all born there. And that was when we were living in Coniston Street in Anfield. And then I was probably about 2 or 3, and then the family moved to West Derby.
Woo!
And then
West
from
Derby.
West Derby,
There you go.
moved over to the Wirral when I was about 7, 8.
Yeah, so
Over to Knocktura Moxton, where my mum and dad still are. And then I lived there, went to school, then went to uni in Leeds, and then lived 10 years down Bisham Abbey, 10 plus years, where you just
I've
come
just
back
been
from.
not long ago for rehab. Yeah.
She sent me a picture of my little baby face, a picture on the wall.
I know.
Oh,
I was literally
really?
in one of the hotel rooms, and then there was a picture of Sam right there. I was thinking, she's following me.
Yeah.
Like, no.
But that was before I started putting eyeliner on in my hand.
Oh,
So it looked,
God, she had a
proper
bit like
different.
little puppy cheeks on it because she was like
Honestly.
20 years younger or something like that.
I remember
So.
that. I remember those
and then
days.
back to Ian. I met my husband on a night out when I had a weekend off from Bisham, and I was in Alma with my sister. And this lad comes up chatting to me, and then he said, "I'm going to start following you on Twitter." So I said, "Yeah, okay." And he said, "What's your surname?" I said, "Quek." He said, "Oh, where's that from?" I said, "Oh, my dad's from Singapore." He said, "How'd you spell that?" I said, "Go on, you guess." And he was one of the very few, if not the only person to spell Quek right the first time. So it's Q-U-E-K.
Okay.
Normally people say
It's
K or
it's true love there.
KW. Yeah. Yeah.
True love, you knew
True
straight
love,
away.
yeah. And then he started sliding into my DMs.
You mean he's in Wiki you beforehand? Is that what we're saying?
Probably did. I don't know if I had a
Are you that
Wikipedia
plastic?
Oh,
page.
is that what it was?
Imagine, are you that plastic Scouser?
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't love at first sight. It's when he put vinegar on his hash brown when we were having a full English. That's when I knew I love a bit of vinegar.
The funny things, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's where we met in Alma, and he was living on the Wirral. And then I came back after the Olympics in 2016 and been living together ever since.
Aw.
So,
Well, there you go. We've had a bit of a brief tour of
I
who
like
Sam
that. That
Quek-
was
exactly.
nice. That was really
nice.
good.
Yeah.
It's very
You put
smooth.
it really well.
You've done that before.
in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
exactly. We may have to go through that in a bit of depth as well later on. So
Oh yeah.
if you don't know,
Which bit? The vinegar on hash browns.
Exactly,
or
yeah. Well, I was thinking more about the boozy time. No, don't. No,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
No,
Let's not bring
fine.
that one up.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
yeah.
secrets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, for Bianca and I, we probably know you more for being a hockey player, and we'll probably go into that a little bit more depth shortly. But a lot of people who will be watching this will probably know you more for your media career and your TV and radio presenting. Would you say that's probably fair?
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely say that.
yeah, quite often. Normally, when I go and do like a public talking, or even with my book, I normally get a first question, hands up, and it's all about the jungle.
I was just about to
Yeah,
put
yeah,
that in
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Definitely
one of the
known
main
for I'm a
things.
celebrity, get me out of
Yeah.
here, and presenting.
Yeah,
It was cool though. You did really well
it
on
was
it.
mad.
Where
Yeah.
did you come again? Was it fourth?
Came fourth.
I was going to say
Fourth,
Final
because you
Four,
did
wasn't it?
the last the game at the
Yeah,
end.
the cyclone.
Yeah, that bit is
was
the
the
best
one.
bit of the whole thing.
Yeah, it was mad. I
Moving
remember
you on.
getting an agent for the first time, and he said, "We've got an opportunity here for you to go and do an interview for I'm a Celeb." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to get on it. Never going to get on it, but I'm going to do it." Because I was a massive fan of the show anyway, so I
Yeah.
wanted to see
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah.
Literally went down to their ITV studios on South Bank. Had a coffee with my agent beforehand, and he was, "Okay, they might ask you this, they might say that," but he was like, "Just chat, just be yourself." And I went into the offices, and we were literally just sat in a glass meeting room.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh dear, Bianca, what
What's
are you
that for?
doing?
Is that a text or a
No,
reminder?
that is actually for me in tablets for me knee. So
Can we get a tablet? Come on.
We are gonna excuse that one. That's fine.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Honestly.
We need to get that
This is for
knee
the
back
outtakes.
to
I've
This
got
is
to
for
get
the
my knee
bloopers.
back, haven't I? So that's
Get
literally.
over. You can't. No, come on.
Can we bring some
Can someone
tablets
bring
on
my
a silver tray?
anti-inflammatory back?
Do you know what I mean? Do you need them now?
No, it's okay. I'll
Okay.
get them.
Well,
like,
diclofenic.
We'll get them
I'll
in the
wait.
break. We'll get
Oh,
them
the
in the break.
diclofenic. Good old athlete's best
They
mate.
are
That.
something like that, yeah. Anyway, Sam, what about you again?
But we've had lots of things that interrupt a podcast because we've had Rachel Unit go and put out a fire.
Yeah,
she's a
the fire
firefighter.
alarm went off in the middle of the episode, and we were just talking. She was talking about herself, and I went, Nina, and we were like, oh my God, the whole street's on fire. She went,
Where were you?
oh, it's just a little...
So she works as a firefighter now because she's a former England footballer and a firefighter in the West Midlands. And of course, we're in the middle of the fire station doing an interview with her. And she said, I might get called out, but it never happened.
Oh, so you were actually in the station?
We were
Yeah, it was
actually in the
boss.
station, and she got called out. It was incredible.
And she was so
we
chilled
froze.
though.
Yeah.
Like we were like, oh my God. And
She was
went,
going, are you going to film it when I leave? You know what I mean? It's like, there's a fire going on. What, you just go and do it, you know? So anyway.
You only filmed there because you wanted to try the pole, wasn't it? Like, go down
Well,
it.
yeah.
Did you get to go down it?
No.
It's like every
doesn't
childhood
exist.
dream.
Doesn't
Is it
exist.
not?
No, it doesn't exist
Is it a
anymore.
safety thing nowadays?
Yeah, it's a health and
we went
safety
in
thing.
the fire truck like we were like 5 or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We
But
had
anyway.
a photo. Anyway, so
Queued up one of them with Molly. Anyway, we digress.
honestly, so I have no idea where we were.
I'm a celeb.
I'm a celeb.
celeb.
Yes, there we
Do you
go.
actually just want to get... Do you want me to start again or just crack on?
Just crack on
Okay.
with where you were. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Everyone's listening, so yeah,
No
it's
worries.
fine.
Yeah, so we went into this like fishbowl meeting room, tiny, with the exec producer and 2 other members of staff, and we literally just sat for like 2-3 hours chatting about my Olympic experience. What would you do if there was a certain character in there? How would you act? How would you act when you get hungry, you're tired? And then that was it. And then it was like radio silence for weeks.
Really.
And then my agent was coming back and forth saying, oh, they're just trying to figure out the lineup. It's not looking likely, actually, but, you know, it could change. And I remember being at a panel event at Stamford Bridge, of all places, and getting a call off my agent just before I went on stage. And I was thinking, this is weird because he knows I'm busy.
you're about
so I
to do
picked it up and he was like, Sam, I was going to wait, but I can't. He was like, I've just had a phone call and you've been confirmed and offered an official place on this year's I'm a Celebrity Get Married.
Really? Wow.
Amazing.
And I remember being like, oh my
You were like,
God.
oh my God, I've got to eat bugs.
I just wanted to tell someone straight away, and I was about to walk on stage and I did this like hour and a half panel event. Like,
Yeah, because you can't tell anyone,
you can't tell anyone.
You've got to keep it a secret
Yeah.
till you get
But you
there.
must be, you know, when you're in that situation though, you've got that going on internally. How do you deal with that externally as well? You know, you've got to kind of keep your trap shut and be excited about where you are, but the excitement's probably elsewhere.
Yeah.
At least it's good news.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
absolutely.
It's good news. So you could kind of, you know,
Being nice to everyone.
yeah. But it's like being an athlete, isn't it? It's like you get selected for major events about a month in advance.
Yeah.
And you can't tell anyone
Well,
then.
You can't tell anyone outside.
Yeah.
You tell your inner circle
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But then it's different, I guess, because you didn't realise how big of a thing the I'm a Celeb thing is, the TV, the papers. I mean, there was, like, I flat out refused to do anything associated with this. I was about to say the name, but you know what I mean, the rag.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Completely, like, refused. Anyway, there was a journalist who turned up to my mum and dad's house, said they were from some other company. But it was a company which was owned by them.
Of course, yeah. So
Okay, so
like
you're
a
trying to
group,
get
isn't it?
Just trying to, because they knew that we were always going to say no, and they just wanted any little bit of information. They went to my husband's. This is all before
That's crazy.
it actually started. I think I'd
So it's
flown
even
out.
before you'd even got in?
Before you get out, yeah. So it's mad because they kind of get whiffs of rumours.
Do you feel like you going on there like changed your path into presenting after the show?
I think a little bit.
So obviously it opens a lot of doors, doesn't it, to like an opportunity like that to go
Yeah.
on such a big TV show.
Yeah, I
And
was
then
so
you did-
naive.
and you did go on it and you did so well.
Yeah.
And then to come out, it like sort of opens that.
Because I mean,
so,
because
yeah.
to put a bit of context into it, obviously you had a long hockey career. Whereabouts was this in that hockey career? Had you retired by this point?
Straight
Were you?
after.
Yeah, it's literally straight after. So I'm a Celeb was
Rio.
the November. I remember flying out to Australia on the 5th of November because I was on the flight and I was taken off and I could see all the fireworks. But Rio finished, didn't it, in August?
August. In
The
August,
first
yeah,
week of
yes,
August.
yeah.
And before we went out to Rio, our coach wanted to know where our head was at after Rio. So were we retiring? Were we continuing? Were we having a break?
Yeah.
And for me, I've always said I needed a 6-month break of no hockey because
Sure,
I'd
okay.
always had a continual run
Yeah.
from basically 2007. So that was always my agreement. I had no contracts with any brands, any hockey clubs. A few of the girls had hockey club contracts in the Netherlands because they're a professional outfit
Sure.
out there. So I had complete freedom. So when
Yeah.
we won gold, everything went nuts. So I threw myself into everything,
Sure.
award ceremonies, panels, game shows, radios.
Well, you've got to, though. You've got to get yourself out there, especially like because if you're not as known in such a big team as well, like they all won gold with you. There's like how many girls in total?
Yeah, so it was 16.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's you've got to sort of get yourself out there as well to get yourself and
That
your
was
face
legit.
out there. So,
And I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
I thoroughly
and
enjoyed
great
it.
at it.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of people were like, oh, how much are you getting paid? And I remember after 3 months, even after I'm a Celeb, I got my first profit margin, which was like 36 quid. Because you're at a point in your career where you get invited to everything or shows, but a lot of it's in London.
Yeah.
So you're paying for a train ticket and a hotel, and then you get your fee, but your fee's just spent on
Of course,
Doing it.
your expenses doing it.
Yeah.
But it all paid off because I just used that to try and hopefully boost a profile. But I think the presenting side of things came because when I was on panels, and I still do it now because I'm a bit of a geek and I love research. I used to read up on who I was on with.
Yeah.
So then I started asking questions, and then someone said to me, oh, can you host an NFL gig, panel event, which I did. Loved it, loved doing the work for it. And you do a good job there, then someone notices, and then you get asked to do all different
Spirals all the
things,
way,
and then a host sideline, hosting all different bits and bobs, and it just basically spirals from there. And you've just got to take the
And you
opportunities.
got it, so you took it.
Well, getting back to what you said before, you went into kind of I'm a Celeb naive, so you would be forgiven for that because your hockey career has just come to an end. You just won probably the biggest prize ever in the gold medal in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, in terms of that naivety, how did that play out for you in that sense?
Almost like if I was to go into I'm a Celeb now, I think I wouldn't be any different, but I would have a greater understanding of how television works.
Okay, fine.
And how things are
okay.
produced.
Yeah.
Because I was so conscious that I had a mic on 24/7. Not that I was going to say anything controversial, but there were some things I didn't even have an opinion on because I was like, can I say that? Can I not?
Yeah, because you don't want to get it twisted in the
Twisted,
media or
because you're just
anything.
worried, and you're so media trained as a Team GB athlete of, okay, this is bridging. So you talk, someone will ask you a question and then you just get trained that if you feel uncomfortable asking that question, you just bridge it to talk about something else.
Yeah.
And again, being part of a team sport, you feel like you are answering on behalf of a team. So I was very naive in terms of that. Whereas now I'd quite happily talk about different things.
You just say what you want.
Exactly,
That's what she's saying.
So, because I was thinking about this beforehand, you've got this career. Did you ever think about media? Did you ever think about television during that particular time? I'm intrigued because it's quite, because a lot of people do it, you see pundits and et cetera, but to go into TV presenting, it doesn't happen all of the time for athletes. Was that, what was your thought process then? It was never the ambition, is that what you're saying?
It was never the ambition, but once I start getting a taste of it, I was loving it. And even now, it's the only buzz I get, which can maybe parallel the same buzz as playing live sport, because you do all the preparation, your research, you go live on TV, you get one opportunity, and at the end of it, you're like, oh, nailed
It's
it.
all or nothing.
It's all or nothing. You either do it and you do a great job, or you do an okay job, but then you can pick in it and say, right, I could do this better for next time. So in terms of that buzz and that butterfly feeling, it's the only thing which is a little bit like sport.
Do you miss sport? Do you miss competing still? Or do you still do hockey now? Or
yeah, definitely. I'm just back with my local club. I say local, but it's the only local Prem team, which is in Bowden in Manchester. They're called Bowden. They're not officially called Bowden Hightown, but they stem from Hightown in like Formby way. So back in the day, I say back in the day, this is when I was like 15, Hightown had to relocate to a pitch which was water-based. So AstroTurfs are all sand-based now, a lot of rubber crumb. You had to play Prem, you had to play on a water-based pitch, and the only one in the north of England, close-ish to Liverpool, was Bowden, or the one in Bellevue in Manchester.
Yeah.
So Hightown ladies' first team merged with Bowden, and that's when I started playing my first Prem level hockey at the age of 16. So I've been with them ever since, really.
and now you're back.
Now back. We got relegated just as COVID hit. I had 2 babies. COVID happens. And then we got promoted last season, playing back in Prem.
Now she's back. You never know. We
back.
could see her back. What do you reckon? Do you reckon she could come Paris?
I don't see the desire in the eyes.
I'm asking you,
I don't see the desire in the
You're
eyes, to be
thinking
honest with
TV
you.
opportunity. Let's do like an Amazon fly-on-the-wall doc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You never
Honestly.
know, make it happen.
I mean, the thing is, I've seen your Instagram, and sometimes you're absolutely floored by your kids. So, I mean, do you fancy going to another Olympics? I genuinely don't.
You give anyone that opportunity, but it's one of them where if you're going to go to an Olympics, I'm that personality where I would want to go to compete. I'm not just going to go to an Olympics.
Yeah. All or nothing, isn't it? You've done it, you've won it. So you wouldn't just be going just to participate anymore.
But this way, when bedtime happens and the kids go upstairs, you're probably just sparked out.
Mate, I'm still like that anyway. When I was training for an Olympics, I was literally just tied in the house.
Honestly.
So it's a maybe.
It's a maybe. It's a maybe, yeah. Okay, we'll just get back onto the media side of things and what have you, because you've got a lot of credits for TV companies and so on. You've worked for the BBC, BT Sport, you worked for Channel 4, Channel 5, you've worked on the BBC's Olympics coverage, you've been Eurovision 606, Question of Sport, captain on television, you've presented the programme on the 5 Live version as well. Morning Live on the BBC. Is there anything that I'm missing out here that of note? Because you just seem to be working everywhere.
Yeah, that's the stuff that people see. Yeah. Because I remember doing the Olympics for Tokyo, and everyone always what's Sam Quek, what's her presenting experience, and what people hadn't seen in the 4 or 5 years run up to that was
all that.
Yeah, or just like the presenting at a lower league rugby game, which no one really watches, or it's live on YouTube, or I've actually started out my first ever studio gig at LFC TV.
That was what
I think we did something on it ages ago, didn't I?
Something ages ago. Yeah,
I think I might have interviewed you, and I watched that back, and my auto cue reading is so robotic.
Yeah, like, everyone's got to start somewhere. Like,
and I'm trying to listen to the gallery. I'm trying to interview. I'm trying to listen to Rob, and Rob Jones was my first TV husband. He was amazing, and even now I say how brilliant he was, because it's such a competitive industry where I've worked with people who aren't great to work with because they might be a bit jealous or they want to have the main role. But Rob Jones and even Dan Walker as well, there's certain people I've worked with who are just so amazing, but I can't thank Rob enough because that was my first.
They helped you grow as well.
He gave me tips, but also didn't really undermine me or make me feel like I was rubbish. He was honestly the best person to have the first TV gig, gallery gig with. But I learned so much, and again, me being biased or not, Liverpool fans are such a forgiving audience, so I could do an absolute mess up and they'd be still like, oh, wasn't that a great question to Steve?
Yeah, exactly. Because bizarrely, that was the next actual thing in my notes here was the LFC TV part. Was that literally almost the start of all of that they took that chance on you?
I think so. When it came to a more formal setup,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Because I'd done bits of radio, I'd done hosting panels.
You've done bits and bobs.
Loads of bits and bobs, So that was a massive impact on my career, just because it was a great opportunity to learn the talk back of a gallery.
Or in your ear, saying it and then listening.
Yeah, so you will have, there's open talk back and switch. And switch is when, if the gallery needs to speak to you, they'll buzz you in and speak to you. But I went straight onto open. And it's just like anything, it's a skill. Yeah. So have you ever been in a restaurant or a cafe where you can kind of hear a conversation behind you going on, but you're trying to have a conversation?
Yeah. It's like that. Because for me, I'd be doing football matches, you see, when I was at Radio Merseyside, and you could hear you could hear me in one ear, and you could hear everything else going on in the other ear. And you're trying to do commentary at the same time as that. And it's very strange. You may agree with this, but sometimes you just have to switch off to what's going on until they actually turn around. In my case, it's Paul, or in your case, it's Sam, blah, blah, blah. And you have to maintain this kind of concentration. It's a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, a massive skill. And anyone can learn it, but it's
I'd be
just...
like, what? What did you say?
But the only way you're going to learn it is in a gallery. So for me to go in there, have that skill, which then would enable me to go and do, Channel 5 rugby, sideline reporting, NFL reporting, even up to the Olympics, the One Show, Morning Live, everything that I've been doing, it is just a skill because you've got your director, your producer, the boss. You've also got, the AP who's telling you how long you've got left on a chat. and then you'll be talking to someone whilst trying to interview that person.
Correct.
And then also listen to your co-presenter.
There's more to it than everyone thinks. It's not just picking up a mic. And
That's why people...
That's what I thought it'd be like, look.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what?
Give you a natural.
But the thing is, though, you think about, say, live TV presenting. For me, it was always live radio presenting or whatever it may be, and there's certain skills that go with that. You've got the auto cue, for example. You said you were very robotic when you started reading the auto cue. Did you find that over a period of time it became a lot easier? Was it a quick thing? Was it did you have to really work at it?
Yeah, a little bit of both, really. Because when you get more confidence, you feel like you can have more of a say because you've got experience and you know what works for you. So you can walk into a gallery and just, log on and click and then change certain words, put commas in or, certain capital letters. Whereas when I was first starting off at LFC TV, they were saying, go and do that, Sam. But I was a bit unsure. I didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
But again,
it's experience.
It's just experience. But then
practice.
Again, I was with someone like Rob, I would say, Rob, how do I do that? And I didn't feel bad or ashamed or embarrassed because he never made me feel that way for asking or even a voiceover. Or lingo. Just like the lingo when people are saying certain words and it's just TV lingo.
Yeah.
But it's just a case of, learning the job on the way, being a sponge. And I think anyone, if you're a sponge and do it with passion and do your research, you can do it.
It's like, you say about the lingo, sorry, just to interrupt, the lingo like oovs, sots, VTs, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of like sot, sot next or VT
down the barrel.
Next, down the barrel of the lens.
I'm lost now. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah.
Barrel what?
Yeah,
What?
down the barrel.
Yeah.
You know what down the barrel is.
I think it's all down to because she's just naturally good at it. That's it. Like literally a bit of practice, bit of hard work.
But it's like anything though, isn't it? Whether it's taekwondo or hockey, you need that person or you need a certain individual or certain people to be around, which gives you confidence to thrive.
To make you shine and come out
And I've been
more.
so fortunate that the majority, if not all, of people I've worked with have enabled me to do that.
You'll have to give me a few tips.
Right, go and we
Wow.
gold medal.
Okay.
We'll set up our own little chat show.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're sorted.
There you go. There. Olympic gold medal.
I'll probably get dragged in to film it, but anyway.
Well, when we're on Question of Sport, I'm always like, is Bianca on my team?
We
I'm like,
win all the time, by the way, on Question of Sport. I
Yeah,
think we
because,
lost
but
like
it's not just the quizzing. It's like the whole.
Yeah.
It's the chat.
It's
It's the hair whipping.
Wowzers.
I feel like we should all hair whip. Yeah, we got too much hair. Oh God, I've ruined it now.
Guessing
It's
and
the VAR.
Googling the
Yeah.
answer
It's
on the bottom.
Googling,
That's exactly what it is.
No cheating going on here. What do you mean? So we've got a bit of a background anyway of your TV presenting and what have you, but we just want to speak about the author part as well.
Definitely.
Thanks for the plug.
This is
Obviously,
is this the
definitely
second
deserves it.
book that you brought out? Because there was like your autobiography as well, wasn't there? That came out 2018. Sam Quek, Hope and a Hockey Stick. That was in 2018. And now this is the second one, which is Raw, Celebration of Great Sporting Women.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to say about this particular book, why did you want to create, I think I know the answer, but why did you want to create a book like this, celebrating, if you like,
And
sporting
what
women?
is this book
And what is
all
the book?
about?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
is it about?
so basically, I was having a conversation about women in sport with the publisher, and he was saying to me about his 13-year-old daughter that she's well into a sport, but she's getting to a point now where is sport cool, and she was feeling pressured not to continue.
Yeah.
Because you know what it's like as a girl, isn't it? It's like you come into this house party or, why's your hair always wet?
Yeah.
Or, oh, gosh, she's playing hockey again. And the
She's
majority
not
of people
going
didn't get it.
out. Yeah.
They didn't get it because it's not the done thing at that age. And with the rise of the success in women's sport, so, KJT, another
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Scouser winning Worlds recently, the Lionesses last year, Euros, going into, the World Cup final, the netball getting into the first World Cup final recently as well.
Girl power.
Yeah, it's almost like women's sport is on such a trajectory and everyone's thinking it's amazing. But actually, when you step back, it's never been that way. So whether it's football, I started playing football and I got stopped playing by the local league and the FA had to come up and actually say, she can play till she's 11. But I never saw a girl on a footy pitch. I grew up wanting to be Steve McManaman. My brother was Robbie Fowler because I didn't see these amazing role models. So it's just a little bit of a snippet of different journeys that all these different successful, amazing sports women have been on. And I talk a little bit about mine and how it was the same or it was different to other people.
You've got some pretty big names in there.
Yeah,
as
go on,
well,
roll
haven't
some
you?
off. But there's just different challenges. So, whether it's periods, childbirth, parity. So Catherine Granger, one of the best, most successful female
Absolutely.
Olympians and rowers,
Yes.
I guess, talks about back in her day, it was, we used to get
potential, it says here.
Yeah. What's your what?
Unlocking potential.
Yeah. So one of her stories was, again, something you just didn't think about, not even that long ago. She would say at uni, the men's team would get a brand new boat.
Okay.
And then the women's team would get their old boat. But you never really batted an eyelid at it because that's just the way it was. It was just the way it was.
Pass down the boat, like your sister would give you her old clothes.
Yeah, but you just
be
didn't.
fuming.
Yeah, but you didn't think about it because you weren't. They were like, "Yes, we got a new boat." And it, like when I was playing for Tranmere, girls, we used to get the hand-me-down kit from the boys' team, which was like 4 seasons old. But we'd be buzzing. But I never thought, well, why haven't we got the new kit? Because it's just the way it was.
But now that you're saying it now,
you just think, well, why couldn't we have both just got, new kit or whatever? And even now, there's sportswear. Like my whole club now, it's unisex. It's not unisex. It just fits men, but it's unisex because my bum and thighs definitely don't fit in a medium. So I have to get a large, but then they're too long.
Well, the fact that you've just said that is crazy. Like, imagine me getting I'll just get the boys' old debunks. That would never happen.
Yeah, but that's now. That's because people have spoken about
sport
it
now. Because our sport's been quite well for that thing.
Because it's gone on, as you say, it's gone on a journey.
Exactly.
You know, because I started working in women's football in 2005, and where that's gone now in the last 18 years, it's just a totally different world.
Yeah.
You know, meeting players who either have to play, because Tranmere used to have to pay to play.
Yeah.
You know, and a number of other clubs used to do the same. Everton didn't have to because Mo Marley made it so they didn't have to, but they didn't get paid, and they used to get, if you like, the men's kits given to them, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So it's gone on this journey, and you're going to say a couple
you've got
of
some
people
amazing people on here. You've got Paula
Radcliffe,
Radcliffe, MBE, Amy Williams, MBE, Dame Sarah Story, Fatima Whitbread, Sky Park. You've got variations as well here, like
different sports,
older, younger, different sports.
Yeah.
Tanya Gray Thompson, like it's unbelievable. The different stories are so different.
So different.
Yeah.
So different. But it's just mad. But I'm not going to sit it like. I'm not a bra burner. I'm not. I didn't do this book to preach and say like we deserve this or not, because for me it's an understanding of actually where is women's sport now and where is it going.
Yeah.
And I'm, I think you have to learn from the past and talk about it and understand it and change the future for the good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like periods. Like Heather Watson, it was only 2015 when she came out and was like, "Oh, I played rubbish because of my period," and everyone's like, the women were just more
said that on TV.
Yeah, women were like, "Oh my God, how embarrassing! I can't believe she said that."
Yeah.
The blokes were like, "That's disgusting. I don't want to hear about it."
Yeah.
But then it's like,
but why was it like that?
But whereas now people are more comfortable. Like Lionesses changing the colour of the kit. I played for Caldy Boys 6th form, and their shorts were white, so I wore a white skirt. And I remember, I don't mind saying, was when I was due on my period, I used to be mortified. I used to just layer up because I thought, "Oh, what of a leak?" And I should never. But I never thought, well, I shouldn't be wearing white because I just thought it's just the kit colour.
Exactly.
So it's come on, and that's only been since 2015. But even babies as well, like. Even in 2016, I didn't think I could have a baby and go back. I just thought I had to retire and have a baby.
Yeah, like you were done. Like
that was it.
Done.
But then you've got like Laura Kenny, Jess Ennis did it. Naomi Osaka last week was saying I'm coming back next year after having a baby. And now it's norm.
And in football and a lot of other different things, you're getting like maternity leave and that sort of thing being put into place.
And that's only been in since last year.
But like you said, the more people talk about it, the more it comes out, it's going to change. Education, like it's going to change, and hopefully it excels more and more and more. And like when your daughter's grown up, because I've seen that you dedicated the book to her.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've read it in there that it's equal by the time your son reads it, which is really good. So hopefully it just keeps going
sooner
on.
rather than later. But it's those little stories where you think, oh my God, was it like that? So some of them from Sheila Parker back in the 70s. She's having a baby, and even her teammates are saying, "What you're doing here, you should be home washing nappies and feeding the baby," because that's the way it was.
Yeah.
So it's just mad to see where it is now, where it's been, and hopefully where it can go. So that's what the book's about, really.
But sort of looking at the book, what was the reaction to the, because you say you've got a broad range of ages, sports, lots of different things. What was the reaction to when you or the publicists or whoever, agents, were all speaking to each other? What was the reaction you were getting from those athletes?
Everyone was dead keen to do it, to be honest. And I can't thank them enough because, I didn't pay them or anything. It was just a case of, I'm putting this book together. This is what I hope to achieve. And hopefully, at some point in the future, we can do another one to see.
Yeah, but it's the reason why you're doing it. That's probably why the girls got involved and everyone got involved, because it's the reason behind it's more powerful than just getting paid or just getting your name out there. Do you know what I mean?
But I think it was also, you have to empower each other.
Yeah, you
support
each other.
100%.
I mean, I could have come on here and been like, I'm only doing it if we come to a 5-star hotel and you pay me $5,000.
Good job. We had to sort all that out.
Exactly. It's a good job. We're really good at arranging all these things.
No, you've got to
honestly.
stick together,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And have each
Yeah.
other's back and hopefully build upon that and then
Absolutely.
hopefully go somewhere great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as I say, I'm not a massive bra burner. It's
That's a start to pull out. I heard you say it before and I was dying to laugh before. No. Bra bin.
It is though.
Obviously, I know.
but I am a feminist. I believe in the
Of
like
course.
equality of
Yeah.
women and women in sport.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to go.
Absolutely.
Mine's not big enough to burn. Like,
Man, it was fine. I don't even wear a bra.
Anywho, go on.
Right, that's
But yeah, you've got some fantastic sporting women in here, and definitely go and get it. Plug on it.
Yeah, get it, go on.
Raw.
You'll
Go
enjoy
and
it.
read
it.
It's an easy,
Absolutely.
easy read as well
Easy
because
read,
there's loads of little
big
stories.
letters
Big,
if you want to go in there.
Audiobook will hopefully be out at some point.
That actually is really good, pretty good typeface, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's nice and big.
But yeah, definitely worth a read.
Yeah. So we briefly spoke about it before, kind of, and we spoke about it as well with the kits and everything else. But your hockey career is the thing really which set you up for the journey that you're on now. So before we talk about that, what was the journey to you finding hockey? Because you mentioned there about football and so on. How did you eventually find that you were talented at hockey enough to go and play on the world stage?
School. So I'd say I was a footballer before a hockey player because I've got, as I say, a twin brother, older brother, and after school used to come back and play football in the garden, and I used to love it. And being a twin of a boy meant that I was surrounded by a lot of lad friends. So when my brother had mates over, you know, you'd play with them. We were dead fortunate to have a quite decent sized garden, and also my mum's one of 8. And she's got 5 brothers, you know, he had 2 sisters, and we had cousins. So family barbecues, you know, it was normal. And there was no, she can't play because she's a girl. You just get stuck in. You know, I'd get pushed off the ball. I'd get slid tickles. I don't know what that is.
Or whatever that is. Anyway.
So that's where my love for football started. And I didn't even know anything about hockey. And my dad did brilliant for himself. My mum and dad built up a quite successful business. And put us into private school, and they played hockey there, and I picked up the stick, and I think I was
age-wise?
10. 9, 10.
Oh, good.
And went to the Oval in Bebington, and a guy noticed me called Mr. Cartmel, and he said, I want you to come and trial for the Wirral for the Merseyside Youth Games. And that was the first trial I had.
Oh, cool.
A first competition that I played. I think it was at Wavertree Sports Centre, my first Merseyside Youth Games.
Been there, hasn't he?
And I was 10, 10 playing for the under-12s. And that's literally where my hockey journey started.
Is that when you thought, like, I want to do this a bit more and get to the Olympics? Did you know it was in the Olympics?
No, genuinely didn't. Because you sometimes speak to Olympians and they say, well, I remember when I was 4, I wanted to be Olympian. I probably didn't realise the Olympics existed, to
I
be
didn't
honest.
know Taekwondo was in the Olympics for ages. Like, it wasn't in there for years anyway. But
it was,
like, I didn't know it was in there when I started.
Did you want to be an Olympian, though? Or were
No,
you just doing
I
it
was
for
just
fun?
doing it because my
Same.
mate took me, and then I was all right at it. And then that's how most journeys happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except for that, them people or them kids who know, like Aaron, he was like, I want to be when I was 5. I was like, all right, well, I didn't know it was in there then.
Yeah,
Get
I
it.
was literally that
Crazy.
person. Same.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. And then I was playing football alongside. So played for the boys' team. Then there was 2 teams on the Wirral who took girls.
Yeah.
And one was Tranmere girls, and one was a team called Greenleys.
Okay.
And I went to Tranmere because my brother said, when you say you play for Tranmere, people know who Tranmere is.
Yeah.
So that's literally the only reason why.
Really?
That's why I picked that.
Yeah, and then I realised actually this is a really good setup, and played there till I was 17, and then had to pick because I was playing for England under 16s and North under 16s. But with football, I was in the Centre of Excellence, Tranmere School of Excellence,
Look at you.
which was Tranmere, Everton, and Liverpool players, like Merseyside players.
Oh, okay. So you could have actually went anyway.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And then the next conversation, I think it was Sylvia Gore, bless her now, she died a few years ago. She was a brilliant mentor, because then the conversation started around England under 15 football team. But I had to train on a Tuesday with hockey, and then for Tranmere it was Tuesday and Thursday. So I only made 1 football. So being a defender, and then started on the bench and you never got on.
Okay.
And going to like Aston Villa away. And then I just started naturally playing more and more hockey. And I made that decision because I started playing for England.
And that was around 16?
16, 17, yeah.
16, 17.
Yeah.
Because when you are that age and you're kind of choosing between, you know, a sport that you really love and a sport that you've grown to love, not wanting to be Olympian or whatever it may be, did that literally happen at that time? I mean, when was it, you know, when you talk about that time scale?
No, I think, again, I didn't really realise it. Again, it sounds really nonchalant, but you're just playing it for the love of it.
Sure.
And because you're representing England, you're like, oh my God, I remember being
you're
in
like
my England
turning
kit.
up, you're like coming every
Yeah.
week, and it's just naturally happening.
Yeah. And that buzz of, you know, playing for England, again, it wasn't, I'm going to play for GB in the Olympics. It was, I am playing for England. And I used to be sat there walking through the service station when my dad used to pick us up, because you just fly back into Heathrow, being like, oh God, I hope people see my kid. Because I was so proud even at that age.
Yeah.
And then I got bumped up from when I was 17 to go and play for the under-21s, England under-21s at the Europeans. Had a really successful tournament there as a youngster.
Yeah.
And then they asked me then to trial for the senior team. And I think when I went to the senior setup and realised they were training for Beijing, that's when I was like, wow.
Oh,
Okay, here we go. It
Interesting.
is a reality. I'm in
Yes.
touch and distance now that actually I'm
You
good
can
enough.
see
I
that
can see it.
side,
Yeah.
Because again, it's like anything. For me, I probably had to see it and being in amongst it to realise it could happen. Because even now, you don't see hockey on the telly.
No.
It's only Olympics or European finals.
Correct, yeah.
And that's
And it's
why
a lot more now because of what yous have done
Yeah.
as well. Like,
It takes, you know, it takes steps, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
when you go and win that gold medal, it raises it another
Massively.
level again, doesn't it?
And that's why the Olympics are so important every 4 years, because that's for most sports,
them
most amateur
sports as well,
sports.
for our
That's
sport,
only when
yeah.
people see it. The people who don't play or participate in that sport, that's the only time they'll really see it on telly.
every 4 years.
Exactly, yeah. But we talk about, you know, your career. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know anything about your club career. And I don't know whether that's a failure of the sport or the failure of the media or whatever it may be. But I think that's the way it is and has been for many years. Am I right in that sense?
And I think probably for many sports, really.
Well, it's like we've just said, isn't it? You've just said 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's like we already know about hockey. I already knew about just before, like from London, watching it then. And then if obviously the more success you get, the more TV you get, more coverage you get, more people talking about it. And the probably would it even have the Europeans on it?
No, that's
a
what I
few
mean.
years
It's not
later
even on
after
it
the
now.
Olympics.
But it's really weird because I always think you can't just put hockey on the telly or any sport on the telly unless it's a good product.
Correct.
Because people want to watch a good game, a competitive game, which is a good standard. And again, no disrespect to women's football, but it was only when actually the investment in women's football and now allowed women to train full time, to compete and become better players, that actually the product became big enough where big companies and TV companies said, yeah, we want to put this on telly, and look where it is.
Yeah.
And it's the same with hockey. We only got full-time funding in 2009, which enabled our product to become better. And unfortunately, the product of club hockey, if we put that on telly, and I know
Yeah,
some
you
people
wouldn't get-
listening
yeah.
would probably jump on me for saying this, I don't think it would benefit the sport as much as they think it would.
Well, at the
It
end of
has
the
to
day,
be like a-
sport is entertainment. Like
That's
that's
exactly
why people watch it. That's why people go. It's people pay tickets to see a show. Even though it's sport, it's a show that we're showcasing to everyone. So you're definitely right in that sense.
Yeah. People wanna
but
see
it's that
medals
vibe,
being
it's that
won.
level in it of having enough, but then giving enough to get more.
But like netball have done they've got a
Absolutely.
brilliant like club set up now where they've managed to get it to a standard where there's enough money in it that they can train enough to put out a good product, to get overseas players to pay and look after the overseas players to make it a better standard. Whereas unfortunately hockey in this country, like I still pay my £12.50 per game and we all carpool.
Bring out your medal,
No, I'm not. Imagine
Honestly.
I'm not paying.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's like I picked up 3 of the girls on the way down to East Grinstead at the weekend, and I pay for the petrol, but then get reimbursed because we all have to pay £18 each to cover the petrol for everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's still a very amateur sport, and that's the top league at the top end of hockey. So that's where the sport is, and you can't afford to pay overseas players full time to play at a club, whereas Holland they can. And that's why they have such a great international setup and club setup.
Flashbacks then of like paying for your club. It's like
Yeah.
Your subs
And all your
everything,
kit and everything, yeah.
I used to
Still
sell
like that
sweets
now.
in school just to get the money.
I remember you
Just
saying
to
about
buy.
that, yeah. You
But it was
see, had a little tuck shop.
£1.50, like it was
What
like
did you used to sell? Little sherbet straws?
Like remember when Freddos were 10p?
Yeah.
Them.
Mark them up 15.
Double. Yeah.
Little entrepreneur.
20p for a Freddo. And then the caramel Freddos came out. Ooh, people loved them.
Yeah.
penny chews for £4. That's what you were doing. I can
I made
imagine.
a five a day.
Exactly. Yeah.
In
Imagine.
school.
Got to do what you've got to do.
Talk
Well,
about
4 times a week I made a profit of
you had these
five.
heavy pockets with all these pound coins in. I
Them
bet you.
blazers we have in school.
Yeah, with all inside.
That's why you've
hold
got
pens.
That's why you've got that many pockets, kids.
Yeah,
for sweets.
exactly. No, knowing you, it was probably I only accept folding money and I don't give change.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
probably what it was.
No, I
That's
had
what
change. It was like.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, little bag next to you. But just briefly, just to give an overview of your club career. How many clubs did you play for? Who were they?
Yeah, my first club was Chester, and that was because my PE teacher, Mrs. Concannon, said to me, "You can come on." She was even at Oxton, so people would probably kill her that they didn't tell me to go to Oxton, but she said you need to play National League.
Okay.
Because I think there was Oxton, Neston round by me, so went to Chester. I think I was 14, which is quite late to join a club. Went to Chester, and then at the age of 17, so when it all started getting international, I moved to Bowden. But again, that was actually Bowden Hightown, because Hightown had to move over.
Okay.
So that was full of a lot of locals from Formby Way,
Yes.
so Tina Cullen, Maggie Suyarv, moved there. And again, that was Premier League hockey, so that was another step up. Played there for a few years, and then we went centralised in 2009. And then I decided to move to Reading because a lot of the GB players were playing in Reading, and I live around the corner from Reading as well. Because we had to live at Bisham. So played there for a few years. Then after that, for the next cycle, I went to play for Holcombe, which is in Kent, because they were one of the first clubs to pay their players.
Oh, okay.
And I lived with two of the girls who played for Holcombe, so it made sense. Because for funding, I was on £1,200 a month.
Okay.
And it's tax-free, but you have to pay rent,
Yeah, that's your whole life.
council
Disappears,
tax,
doesn't it?
bills,
It's gone.
Yeah.
fuel,
Yeah.
food. So any extra money you get off the back of that would help massively. And that's why, again, I just thought, well, it makes sense to go and play for Holcombe. And plus, it was a lovely club, great people. And then after that was the Olympics. Didn't play, and I thought I'll go back to Bowden, and that's where I am now. Yeah, so not too many clubs for me. Not too many.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of England, you made your debut for England in 2008, I believe.
Yeah, which was after my GB debut.
After your career.
Which is unusual because GB you would only play every 4 years in an Olympic year.
Yeah. So that was first before that one.
Because you wore 13 as well for the whole of your career, I believe.
Oh,
is that right?
I think
Ish.
13, ish. 30. I remember when I was waiting.
Yeah,
Jenny Bimson had it, and then
What's
Kerry
13?
Williams.
Just number 13.
Lucky number 13. Lucky 13.
Oh, okay.
It was always like our family number, so lived at 13.
Is that was
it
the
just
question?
stuck with us, yeah.
That was the question. So is there a reason why? Because a lot of people see it as unlucky 13, whereas you see
It just
You
randomly
always
stuck
had-
with us. I mean, I
but
used
it
to live
says
at number
lucky for
3.
some.
Yeah.
Lucky for some, unlucky for others.
Yeah.
I think I was 3 Newby Grove in West Derby.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved to number 13. And then it just randomly used to stick with me.
13's your
Or I
number?
used to go to like trials and I'd look at the door number and it was like 13.
Attracting it.
It just always used to attract
Should
it.
go
yeah.
in the casino, put it down.
Yeah, I do.
13.
Still doesn't come in.
I was just going to say.
I do it every single
How
time.
did you get on with that?
Yeah.
To be fair, you
Honestly.
don't promote gambling, Bianca.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we've already spoken about. You won the European Championships with England. What was that? 2015. I think it was the year before the Olympics. Does that sort of have any? Does that sort of have any effect on the momentum going into something like Great Britain the following year that you've had that taste of success?
Yeah, massive. And for me, that was a massive turning point in my career. Because I didn't get selected for 2012 and I thought, right, I'll give it one more go.
Yeah.
And everyone was going brilliant and I broke my ribs in November 2014. And I played on it because Alex Danson had got concussion, who was the captain. So she was out in the first game and I got smashed in the first game. And then after it, I was then nominated to become captain. And I was in pain, but I thought I can play on here because we still need that extra player.
Yeah.
And I probably did more damage playing on it. And it wasn't until I got home I realised I'd broken 2 ribs.
Okay.
So then I was out for like 6 months because
it's
you
a
can't do
long
anything on
time,
broken
yeah.
ribs. But then I ended up doing my groin and hamstring after it. And then I got back fit, but then didn't get selected for the Olympic qualifier that summer.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
So like all the feelings and like self-doubt from 2012, 2011
happening,
not happening, just came back and I just thought there's no point. But I had 3 weeks when they came back from the qualifiers until Europeans, which is the one where we won gold.
Yeah.
So the girls had 1 week off, and in that 1 week I basically just beasted myself so that for the 2 weeks prior to selection that we had in camp, I was going to be the fastest, the strongest, win every tackle, win every
Do everything you
50-50,
could, yeah.
do everything I could, because I was like, if I don't get selected, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
because I'm not going through another cycle of just not getting selected, and a little bit of embarrassment, to be honest. And then the squad was exactly the same apart from one change, and it was another girl out and another me in. And I just went into a bit of effort mode, beast mode.
Head down, this
Head
is
down.
it. One last dance.
Literally, and then just played my arse off, basically. Got player of the match in the final, won gold. We beat the Dutch, who were number 1 in the world, on penalties. I think, what did it end up to all? Can't remember. I should know that.
You should know that.
And then we went into penalties. We were losing 2-1. And then in the last 2 minutes, we scored to equalise and then beat them on penalties, which was great because the year and summer after, 3-3 Olympic final.
Yeah, relive that.
We looked over and you could see they were thinking, oh, this is just all like Europeans again. You could see it in their body language, the way they walked over and we all sprinted in. Probably fate, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because I often think about, how these things work out. And, you're talking there about a lot of self-doubt, a lot of injuries, a lot of, you even said the words there, if this didn't work out, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
And then it goes right for you.
Just at the end.
And then you end up going and winning a gold medal for Great Britain the following year. What does that feel like for you? Because I remember watching back some of the footage and what have you, and especially with those penalties. I'm looking at the whole line of players there, and you're jumping up and down in the centre of them. You know what I mean? I'm assuming for you, was it total like nerves going into that penalty shootout?
No, the penalty shootout. No, I think just because of Europeans, what had happened, and looking over and seeing them so deflated.
Yeah.
Like for stuff like that, for me, it's massively
that's mind
mental.
games, isn't it? That's when you know you've got the edge.
Yeah, and we practiced with Andrea, the psychologist. Everyone knew what the job was. The night before, people who were taking the penalties were doing the revision on what their goalie does. Our 2 goalies, Maddie and Kirsty, were just refining the notes.
So you knew already at that point that it was going to take a penalty, they're going to take a penalty. Oh, that's
where were you
planning.
Where were you in that sort of thing?
I never was.
I never
was. I still, even now, not even at club. I'm one of them who was like, I just do the dirty work at the back.
Okay,
like I put in the big tackles.
Yeah, but don't put it down like that. That's still the stuff that needs to get through.
I'm not the one who's going to polish the ball past 9 players and put it top corner. I'm the one who, the opposition runs past 9 players. I drop my shoulder, take the ball and the player, and then pass it to someone else.
Yeah.
Like we all know our roles in a team. But no, in terms of the penalty shootout, we all kind of felt it. And I think when Alex took hers and it hit the post, that's when we knew. Because they changed the rules with penalties. It used to be a flick, which was basically a normal penalty. Flick it from the P spot into the corner to then shuttles to make the game more interesting. But it made it more in favour of the goalkeeper. So when you look at penalty shuttles now, there's only like 1 or 2 goals ever scored out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Because it was close in that sense. But I remember watching the final, and Maddie Hinch had an absolute worldie, didn't she?
Yeah, again, and it's down to that homework, to being prepared and knowing what your opposition's going to do. Because ultimately, when it comes to pressure, people default to type and what they know best. So
being automatic, what you've practiced
you go to your strength. So Maddie knew, like, right, okay, number 7's come up. She'd look at a famous notebook and she'd go, right, she does that. She runs in right and then pulls 2 drags to the left and reverse
habits,
it. Yeah, just like they would have done, but obviously clearly not as thorough. And as well as us.
Yeah, because
someone get the violin out.
But you say that kind of the match was a classic, really. 3-3 going into there. There was no real separating the 2 teams, were there?
No, I mean,
from what I can remember.
Spectators got the money's worth, didn't they, for the ticket?
Absolutely.
But that was the only game I was nervous for physically. Like you get nervous in your belly, but like physically shaking,
like literally on edge. Or was you?
Well, I came on. Didn't I give away the penalty? Yeah. Anyway, hopefully you just dismissed that concept.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll brush over that one, definitely.
But the only penalty I've ever given away in my career, and that was down to pure nerves. Pure nerves.
But that's sport. That's what people watch you for.
Exactly.
They like them moments.
Yeah, I read the script, Bianca.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know it all. You've lived it, done it, and you're reading the script now.
Absolutely. And when you reach the pinnacle, as you did, I know we talk about you as an individual sport. You're looking to try and reach the pinnacle and so on. But as a team sport, you've reached the pinnacle. It's what you've all been thinking about for many years, potentially winning a gold medal. Is there any other motivation there? I mean, I know you're playing, if you like, recreationally now. But what is the motivation, do you think, if you were even to continue in the game?
I don't know. I think you just have to love the sport. You have to love it because going to competitions is the fun bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And but the stuff in between, it's just monotonous, grafting, cold, miserable, getting out, feeling rubbish, still having to do it, missing your best mate's birthday party, missing your nan's birthday, your best mate's daughter's christening. There's so much sacrifice, and that's why people go, "Why'd you do it? Like, you didn't even get selected last year. You trained."
People just don't understand.
They just, But for me, there was definitely that want to go to Olympics, and then off the back of that, then wanting to win a medal.
Yeah.
But also, I think there's a fine line between like confidence and arrogance and self-belief. And I always had that belief that I was good enough to go and good enough to do it. Because I think if you haven't got that, that's ultimately what drives you. That's what drives you.
Yeah.
You have to have that like hunger in your belly to do it. And when everyone else says no, you're the one going, "Well, I'll show you," or "Yes, I'm going to do it."
So in that sense, when you do win it, it's kind of like, was it easy for you to say, "Well, I've never
officially retired"?
Well, no, you never. I know you've never.
She might be going back to Paris.
Exactly, yeah. But you've never officially retired, but you disappeared out of the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that almost like for a lot of people,
you put the stick down for the mic. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. You did swap careers. So people will look at that and say that you did retire from the sport.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Even though it wasn't an official.
No, I
retirement.
have retired.
But that's what. Yeah, exactly.
Now.
Argumentative. But what I'm saying is, it's kind of like you've clearly made a decision. Was that just because the opportunities came and you just rode that wave?
I think so. I think I'm incredibly lucky that in retirement as such, that I had so many things to keep me busy. Yeah. I've got a lot of friends, a lot of athletes I speak to who have retired and are just lost because you do 10, 15 years of being told ultimately what to wear, when you're competing, when you're training, what to do.
The schedule's the same routine, like it's the same, but that's what it's like your safety net. That's what you live off.
And you know what you're going to be doing this time next year. You know that this is the Olympics, this is when the Olympics are going to be. And then after that, this will be your break. Then we'll start up training again. This is your next competition. So you always know what's coming.
Yes.
Whereas as soon as you retire, and even for me, there was times when I just thought, I feel so lost. And you feel a bit down. And then all of a sudden life hits you and you realise actually there's a bigger world outside of the sport that I compete in. And it can be a really lonely place because not everyone understands. Yeah. They just say, "Oh, welcome to this is what it's really like."
God, this is what I'm waiting for.
But no, you do. You just have to.
No, I know.
You just have to put yourself in the best possible place to give yourself opportunities because they will come. It's about being brave enough to take them. So I was speaking to a young girl who came up to me and said, "Well, all I know is badminton and I've been asked to go and do a little bit of, commentary on the long jump and I know nothing." I said, "Do it." So what's the worst that can happen? As long as you work, do the research and do your best.
Yeah. Well, so what you learn in sport, that's what you do in training. Yeah. You've got to, I think with sports though, you do learn a lot of life lessons, what you don't realise. You've got until you come to outside or retirement. So like you've got to practice, you've got to research, you've got to get into it, you've got to have a routine. These little life lessons you learn in sport can help you in life. So even though we feel lost, it's like a stepping stone to actually be out there in the big world.
Yeah. And I think employers really appreciate that as well. And you're also hard-nosed as an athlete.
Yeah.
You are, because you get told you're rubbish or you're not good enough and you have to bounce back.
You're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But in terms of hockey, though, you did miss it enough to actually want to go back and go and play it as you are now. So is this like an enjoyment period for you now when you're actually playing?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
My motivations, it's really weird at club hockey because you've got youngsters who have never played Prem and this is the highest level they'll play at or they've played at. So whereas for me, what is that animal? Oh,
sorry, if there's a big wasp.
Right.
Honestly, there's a wasp or something on the floor. It's just literally flown in.
Anyway, it's fine.
Anyway, yeah. as long as you're not afraid of it. I mean, it is just wandering around on the floor at the moment for those who aren't watching.
We're safe. But yeah, I'm thoroughly just paying for the joy, for the enjoyment. I wanted to see where I'm up to, if I can still compete. And I really did this weekend. I loved it. I competed. I put in a few big tackles. I missed a few big tackles. I'm not even half as fit as I used to be. But it's the social side. Yeah. For me, exercise and the mental side of things is brilliant. And even for being in a team.
Just having something.
Yeah, you have down times and when you're in and around people, whether it's a yoga class, a spin class, a hockey match, you just forget about everything for those 2 hours. And I also, because I'm so busy and now I have 2 kids, If it's a Wednesday night
That's
when I
like
train,
a night out.
Two
hours in the hockey club.
It's being me and not mum. And it's, you know, the last thing I want to do on a Wednesday, probably in the middle of winter after a long half week, the kids have gone to bed. I just want to sit down and have a takeaway.
Yeah.
Or I want to sit and have a glass of wine or just have dinner and chill and watch the Champions League or whatever it is that's on a Wednesday night. But knowing that actually I'm expected to go to training on Wednesday because we're playing Saturday just gives me that motivation to go an hour down the motorway. Because again, there's more reason sometimes not to do something, but once you do it and you get up,
the reasons are easier to get out of it than to stay in it.
Exactly. Definitely. And I now, again, not having the reason to be better than, you know, the competition you're going to be playing in China or Australia, knowing that you have to be the best in the world. That was my motivation to get up and train.
Yeah.
Whereas now my motivation is to go meet my teammates. They need me for Wednesday.
Yeah. How I can change.
Yeah, I just can't. I struggle now just to go on runs. My body won't take it. My knees hurt.
No,
I need to be part of a club or a class. Yeah. So that's where I kind of pitch it.
I might join the hockey team when I finish.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
There you go. Another career,
Nah, just like Sam said, so I can have a takeaway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to burn off the energy.
Little local football club.
I'd like to run a bit more. Yeah, go on then.
How about we do
Olympian team?
Yes, an ex-athlete.
Right, you just heard it there.
Who else would we have around here?
Let's get Molly
Tash Jonas.
Yeah. Oh, she's good at it as well.
Yeah,
Tash.
She is really good.
Molly, yeah.
She'd be up front then. We'd have a great team.
We're at least on our way to getting a five-a-side team.
Yeah.
Mate, we could
that would be class, that, wouldn't it? Nothing too serious. And we go out on a Saturday night after a win.
Look how serious I'm actually getting now.
And we'd have a crash.
We could win.
And we'd have a crash next door.
Definitely.
Put the kids in there.
Well, when I have them, but yeah.
There we go, sorted. A business opportunity there we can think about.
Wow. I didn't realise the conversation was going to go to this point, but you know, we'll take it. We'll take it. So we've spoken a lot about your differing careers, whether it be broadcasting or whether it be hockey, for example, or having a creche and setting up a five-a-side team. But we've debunked the idea that you're not a real Scouser, because you are actually a real Scouser.
She is.
Thank you.
And we've spoken about, you know, childhood Sam in terms of, you know, playing football and hockey and whatnot. But you've briefly touched upon it before that you're a big Liverpool fan. And I'm interested, you mentioned the name Steve McManaman there. Yeah. So I'm assuming mid-90s or thereabouts is what you would consider to be your era, the influential part of your Liverpool fan club life?
I think so. I think Crown Paints
day one
was my first kit.
Okay.
And I had Patrick
I've seen a picture online actually with you in
my
the
brothers.
kit.
Yeah. That was my first one, and then my main era was like Roy Evans, Gerard Houllier.
Okay.
When like Wembley was being built, and we went to like the FA Cup final, Worthington Cup finals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
that was my
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. But even in primary school, you know, when you had to do like talks.
Yeah.
And people would do theirs about, you know, my pet dog or gymnastics. I genuinely, no word of a lie, did Liverpool home kits.
Really?
1 year. Liverpool home kits, brought them all in because I had from like
you didn't have
fruit to my
specs
brothers.
on at the time, did you?
Sure,
you know
I did.
Oh,
I did.
Oh,
I'm blind as a bat, and I had and I still do, but at that time, like little bit of like an obsession about Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
I did the home kits. What year? Had to remember all the years, who the manager was at the time. My favourite one. And then the year after, I did Liverpool managers.
Oh my.
And I swear everyone must have just been like, oh my God, this is so boring.
Didn't go to the point of Liverpool matches.
That's why they knew. They probably got that from the archive somewhere. Someone must have filmed it back then. And that's how you got your first.
So many people think, oh, she's just a Liverpool fan because like they were winning. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
But there's a picture of one Christmas, and my brother's got like, he stood next to his K-Nex, near the plastic building set stuff, the Connects.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
He's built that. He stood there dead proud, and I'm stood there with the Liverpool magazine. Literally, I've got it honestly on my phone. Like,
so she's a proper one.
Yeah.
Proper.
And I used to have a big, massive team photo, probably literally the size of that fireplace. Team photo poster that I got from like the St. John's Market at the weekend on my wall, and round it was like blue All Saints.
It's taking me back.
Michael Owen.
Just even you saying the St. John's Market, it just takes me back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going into town, and
St.
I
John's.
remember getting dragged around the St. John's Market all the time. But what was your favourite Liverpool kit then? Because I mean, I know I'm an Evertonian, so for me, don't start. I remember, from a fan perspective, I liked the 1995-96 away top, the quarter one.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that. The green and white one.
Green and white one.
Classic.
Because they've just brought that kind of style back, haven't they, as well? What was your favourite?
I really liked the yellow one. It looked a bit like a karate collar.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I had the tracksuit and the away shirt. I got that for Christmas. I lived in it. And I remember I went back to my friend's house. And I say my friend's house, it was my brother's friends, but we were all friends because we had football training. And I left it in the back of their car.
Oh, you're joking.
And I remember this car got smashed and it got stolen. And I was devastated because they were expensive back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was devastated, but still had the yellow one. I love that yellow kit.
I've got to remade
the best
again
away
for you
one.
now in your size.
I mean, the home kits have they're all thereabouts, aren't they? Just red with a white collar type thing.
And it's funny, isn't it? Your links with Liverpool continued when you went to LFC TV as well. So Liverpool is was it always a big family thing Liverpool in terms of
all Evertonians.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just my mum's a blue. Yeah, well, my granddad was a blue, so all the kids are blues. But then one of my uncles, Stephen, is a red. I think he went a bit against the grain, but my dad was a Liverpool fan.
Oh, okay.
So we brought those kids up as a Liverpool fan.
It was my nan. My nan got me into it.
Yeah.
She's a proper Liverpool fan, so we had no choice. Getting slapped or,
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
In terms of players then, who's your favourite all-time player then?
Steven Gerrard.
Okay.
Yeah. Even when he was, I remember getting his name printed on the back of my shirt. It was the first time I'd got a name on my shirt. Again, because it's extra money, isn't it? My dad joking, saying, "God, Jared's such a long name." And then we had the conversation.
Because you have to do it by adding each letter.
We had to pay per letter.
McManaman's longer, I think.
Yeah. But I think I was too young, and then it was Gerrard, and it was 17 when he had number 17 on. He was playing right back.
Because he had 28 and then 17.
Yeah. So he went 28, but it was when he was number 17, and I got it printed Gerrard, and then my mum getting it, being like, "Is it spelt correctly? Because there's 2 R's. Just double check, will you, Samantha?" So yeah, that was the first time I got a proper name on the back of my kit. But yeah, definitely Gerrard, right back and then centre mid, and he was just one of Liverpool's best ever players, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
But yeah, probably him. Steve McManaman, then Gerrard as a more long term.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Legend of the football club. So you're a big Liverpool fan, as we know, big football fan, but also looking at your list of things that you like to do that you see on your Instagram and so on. Golf is another one.
Proper sport fanatic.
Exactly. Are you a fan of basically everything?
Most sports, yeah. I never used to pursue individual sports because I quite like being part of a team.
Yeah.
So I think I got good at tennis at some point when I was little, and I tried being a part of a club, but I just hated it. I just felt quite like vulnerable and lonely.
I'd rather be together.
Yeah, I just like the bouncing and the banter.
Yeah.
But yeah, golf, I'm a fair weather player. I've only just started picking that up now.
Okay.
But I still play a bit of 5-a-side football with my husband on a Monday night when they need me.
Okay.
Massive
when
NFL.
They need me.
Yeah, when they're that desperate for players.
Yeah.
But I love it. And then yeah, golf's just a bit of fun now. It's a good social game. I'll enjoy it. But the clubs are going back into the shed, back into the garage, I think.
Are they?
It's too bad because I can't do 4 hours out in the rain playing golf.
Come on, you got to commit. You know what it's like. You want to be good at something, you got to practice.
Yeah. No, honestly, my brother said to me the other day, he was like, "I'm going to get you putting lessons for Christmas." I was like, "Please don't."
Yes.
Like they will not.
All I do on golf is crazy golf. That's it.
Yeah. Or top. Have you been to a top golf?
Yeah.
I need to go.
Driving range, but
on the
they're
list.
good.
Yeah. And then NFL fan as well. So I'll be covering them games when they come to London. Yeah, big fun.
As I say, you're just so busy with everything and the geeky side of you of being a kid, obviously.
I'm 100% proud to be a geek.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you can see that though in terms of...
You see that? You look like
No, you can see it though in terms of your work. You're into this, into that, into another thing, and you can only do that if you have a particular mindset.
Yeah.
And it's a skill.
You've got a passion for it. You've got to enjoy it, haven't you? And actually
it comes out. It's not like you've got the excitement for each sport like you do and the passion that you've got for each one. So you can see you enjoy it, you're good at it. So keep doing what you're doing because whatever you're doing, it's working.
And I've saved probably one of the best bits to last as well. So, when we listed the list of achievements at the very beginning and what have you, there'd be people turning around going, "You've missed one out." And it's like, I haven't missed one out.
Which one?
It's your MBE in 2017. Purposefully, I left it last because I wanted it in this particular section. I'm not enough of a Sam Quek geek or wherever it is to actually know the answers to these questions. Where did you actually get it and who actually handed you
the now King Charles?
There you go.
Yeah. I remember getting it. I remember I got out the jungle.
Yeah.
And you go and a camera follows you. You're going to have like your breakfast and stuff, and then you get put into like, one of them Mercedes vans and driven back out to the hotel, back to the coast, which is about an hour.
Yeah.
And for part of that journey, you have a camera crew in there while you make your first call home back to your mum. And I remember my mum being like, oh, we're chatting, well done, I'm so proud of you. And she was like, Samantha, I need to know the answer because they keep hounding me. You've got a letter from the palace here and you've been offered an MBE and we need to know. But she's like, but you can't tell anyone. And I'm like, there's a camera crew literally in front of me. So I was like, Mum, I'll call you as soon as I get back. But that was the first time I heard of it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I remember speaking to Carol Vorderman because she's got one about it and the conversation there. But that's when I first found out about it. And then I accepted it, and we got it the day after my mum's birthday in March.
So you have to accept it?
You have to accept it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, so you get a letter, accept it, and then you get all the information, turn up, and then you rock up and you go in. It's the entrance where, do they do all the films?
Yeah.
Like you see like James Bond pull up.
Yeah.
It's literally in there, in like the courtyard. And your friends and family get taken one way and you get taken the other way up this massive staircase. So you go up the first bit together, they go left, you go right, and then you get into a big room, a little bit like this, talking to all the other award winners. So I was with a guy who owned like the longest running steam engine.
Oh, really?
Something like that. And then another lady who had done services for raising money for charity for breast cancer. All these amazing people achieving amazing things. I felt a bit of a fraud, to be honest.
Say, and you just did a ball with a
You're like, I went in the jungle.
But yeah, it was mad. Gold paint everywhere. The thickest toilet roll you've ever seen. And I remember you get briefed as well. So they'll say, go up to them, you'll get called forward, you take this many steps.
Do not look at them.
They will offer their hand first, and then you shake the hand, and then they'll talk to you. And when they nod, you have to take a step back. I'd find a way of
messing this up.
Yeah, you can't turn your back to them.
Change it.
Yeah.
And then you walk out. And again, like, you take it all in.
Yes.
But it's a situation you've never been in before. Yeah. Nerves take hold.
Yeah.
So I go to the edge and I see mum and dad. And mum, look at the front. But it's just, Tom takes the mick out of me now because he was like, you look like that kid in reception at like the
so
Christmas
proud of yourself, like, I've made
those
it.
glasses again.
Yeah. And then I walked forward, turned, and then I forgot to curtsy. So you have to curtsy. And I remember then like the person stood next to the Prince Charles, King Charles now, was like, so I did. And then I did. And he was lovely. He was just saying, congratulations. I've seen some of your teammates earlier on a few weeks ago. But I remember shaking his hand and he had a plaster on his forefinger. And for some reason, it's the one thing that stands out to me. And it's obviously he'd been shaking all these hands that it started to roll back a bit. And I just remember thinking, wow, I love the fact that he's just like us. He's clearly got a cut on his finger and he's just popped a plaster on. And I love that. I love that. But I remember just looking at it being like, I, for some reason, just didn't expect
I was
him to have a
expecting
plaster
it
on.
to go like, why have you got a plaster on? Like, to ask him.
Yeah.
Have you?
Typical Scouser.
What have you done?
Looking at. It's weird.
What have you done? Did you chop your finger off?
Yeah.
Of all the things, you got your MBE.
Exactly.
That's all I remember.
The most memorable part is King Charles had a plaster on his hand.
Was it one of the normal ones for like the colour of your skin?
Yeah. Just that's what I mean. With like the waterproof ones with the dots in.
Yeah.
One of them.
Oh,
so clear.
The good ones. The good ones.
Yeah, a good one. But I remember it just felt like I was there for about 5-10 minutes. It must have been about 30 seconds. Shook his hand, stepped back, put the MBE on me, and I walked off.
Oh, absolutely love it.
And this is why she's presenting gold. That's
exactly. These are the reasons why.
Hopefully you'll have yours anyway.
Yeah,
that's the next Olympics, Bianca.
Get the gold medal first, get the MBE, and you're set for.
That's what it's about, isn't it? Like attraction thing. So that's what it is. Law of attraction.
So I think we've pretty much gone through everything there is to go. We've gone through the career. We've gone through hockey. We've done all sorts of different things. So there's still other stories that I'm sure we could probably tell. But one of the things to round off this, I wanted to ask you. You look back on your career, your hockey career in particularly. I'm assuming you look back with so many fond memories of that time. Are there any, like, apart from the obvious, are there any that stick out in your mind?
There's a few, really. I always remember saying one of the greatest hockey games I've ever played in was, I think it was Boosa back then. The university championships.
Oh, yes.
I think it's called Bucks now.
Oh, okay.
Is it Bucks?
No
I
more
don't
than
even
I
know.
do, but
It's where all the universities compete.
We don't
exactly,
know.
Yeah.
And then we were playing against Birmingham Uni, and I was playing for Leeds Met, and they had basically all England under 21 players, if not England and GB players. and we beat them 3-2. And that was still now one of the best games I've played in. That's a highlight.
It's a game of your life, that.
Yeah.
Everyone has one of them, the game of your life.
Yeah. And then the January 2016, we went on tour to Australia and we played 5 test matches against Australia. And it's probably the best hockey I've ever played.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was one of the highlights of my career because it just put me in a really great place in the run up to the Olympics. Yeah. Probably that. They're just like the ones which probably people are like, oh, it's just a test match.
But that's
it's
what
just
you
a game.
remember it as, and that's your best performance or best moment in your sport career no one can take away.
Yeah, so just little ones like that, really. And then randomly, Molly seeing me play for Bowden the last game of the season last year.
Yeah.
And on the team picture, I'd never thought I'd have my daughter in a team picture with me.
Well, they could watch it at the Olympics if you do.
You're keen, you are.
Exactly. She's pushing you. She's pushing you.
You know what I mean? Look how excited she is for just playing.
Where's the camera?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The journey starts here.
You heard it here first.
Listen, if it happens, it's
The
'cause we've
Netflix
helped it out
special.
now. Yeah. Told you, Sam.
And do you ever think about, you know, what your legacy to the sport is, because you were a part of a big team, and what the next generations can feed off, you know, especially, you know, we talk about Rio 2016.
I hope so, yeah. But I think not even my sport. I think for sports girls growing up, I think I was always not been in an environment, but in not an environment, like in the way women's sport was looked at was a bit like, if you play sport, you're a little bit geeky, you're a bit of a loser at times. And not that anything at all is wrong with it. You were labelled a lesbian. And again, I go back to the book, a lot of the girls say that. They were either bullied because, you know, they were
Tomboy,
still tomboy, yeah. And I got it being a girl in a football team. And there's a lot of external pressures, especially as a teenager, not to play sport, and sport's not cool. Whereas I think sport is cool now.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Lionesses, you look at you, and you know, having a life and being able to look glam and sporty, get sweaty, have spit in your hair.
You can do both now,
sweaty.
it's
You can
normal.
do both because you can get done up and go for a night out afterwards. I think you either branded a sporty girl or a girly girl. And I think it is in a place now where it is cool and you can achieve great things. And it's as I say. So hopefully, you know, getting women's sport and more role models out there is only a good thing.
Good. Well, the book is out now, Raw.
Definitely.
Yeah, get it out now.
Author Sam Quek.
Yes.
See, but thank you very much for coming on to the podcast today, onto the Scouse Code, proper Scouser, Sam Quek.
Thanks for having me.
No?
Can I interview you after Paris when you win gold?
Of course.
Oh,
Have we
There we
waited?
go. We'll
We set that up already.
Yeah, we'll swap
set it up.
positions.
I'll just be like,
Exactly. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ask you about your trip to the
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Thanks very much, Sam. That's brilliant.
Well,
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.